Crikey, we're on episode 164 of Rail's House. I mean, that's a milestone in itself. But it's actually the 11th video that I've done on this Genco Archer. And at the risk of repeating myself, they don't make parts for these things anymore. You can't get them. So you've got to make them. But as I've mentioned in previous videos, I was stuck for this blasted gear wheel that goes underneath the playfield, and well, it counts all the scores and would then light up all the relevant bulbs on the back. And of course it's not, because the second wheel's missing completely. But Lee Buck in the Czech Republic, big thumbs up Lee, I've been talking to him on and off. Really nice guy, and so helpful as well. And he pointed me in the direction of a fella called Steve, who unbelievably has got 2 of these Genco Archers. I guess they sit in private collections. That's what tends to happen. And Steve said, great game, I know the wheel you mean, and I can sell it to you, and it's at a reasonable cost. So that is going to save an awful lot of work. It doesn't stop me replicating the wheels, because I will go on to do that, because I think in the longer term I'd rather rebuild them, make new ones that have a bit more longevity to them, because the whole game relies on those wheels to keep a tally, and there's no point in playing pinball if it won't keep tally of your score. So yeah, so it's a bit of an update, and 2 videos in less than 24 hours, but I mean, that's the way it goes, isn't it? But this is the wonderful thing about the world of pinball, and a lot of these guys, I think Lee said he got about 150. I don't want to get that excessive, because I kind of like the all-win, and I've also got this ongoing very slow project, which I'll link below, which is basically, it was an idea I had in a dream, and I thought, that is so good. I woke up in the morning, I thought, I've got to build one. And it's just, if you imagine a doll's house, but it's actually a scaled down working factory with conveyor belts in it, and lots of switches and a coin mechanism, so you put 20p in or 30p, and you can work all the different things, get them all going in the factory. That's what I had in mind, and I just thought it would be so much fun for kids. And even if, you know, I just take it along to school fetes and where they're trying to raise money and that sort of stuff, it'd be the star attraction, wouldn't it, really? So have a look at the link below. I've only done about 4 videos, but I shall get back onto that in the fullness of time. But in the meantime, it looks like I can get the Genco up and running. I've done almost everything on the playfield now. It's just little tiny cosmetic things. Now all these things have got these white bumpers on, thanks to Lee. And Lee, you were absolutely right. Those black rubbers, well, actually what I was using was O-rings, because that was all I could get. I got myself a kit of O-rings. But there's a massive difference between the density of an O-ring and one of these. These have just got just the right amount of give, just the right amount of bounce as the ball comes down the playfield. And I also mentioned before that these machines don't have flippers. Flippers didn't come until much later. But most Archers I've seen had, and they don't seem to be on this, they had like a sort of spring. It almost looked like, well, almost looked like a bow and arrow. There was 4, one there, and you see where this pink apparent flipper is at the top. They were there as well. Why this board ended up the way it is, I'm not entirely sure, but those, well, they are sort of pinball flippers. Look as old as the game, to be honest. You know, unless these were fitted in the 1940s, 50s, don't know. I quite like them on the playfield, and the game certainly works as is. But I will look at that in the fullness of time. I don't think I'm going to be able to get those spring bumpers. I just don't think that's going to happen. But if I could see one, I'm pretty sure I could make one. I've certainly got flat steel spring, the sort of thing you find in a clock spring. So yeah, I may be able to fashion up copies of the originals. Don't know. We'll see. But anyway, that was my little update, that we've made a massive progression on this Genco. And it just shows you, doesn't it, that the pinball community, which I'm just feeling the edges of, mind, is pretty amazing. And I think what it is, they all understand the frustration of trying to repair and renovate a game, especially these pre-war ones, because of the great difficulty of finding the parts and trying to avoid them ending up on landfill, which ultimately is what may well have happened to this board, this pinball, had I not taken it on. It's given me a bit of a headache, but I'm a very determined man, quite a resourceful man. So keep watching out for the next video, because hopefully we'll be able to get the whole thing fired up. I think I may have some soldering to do, but that's okay. And then we can start thinking, once I've tidied the edges of this up, because that edge, it all needs, you can see at one point it was a sort of white colour. I suspect it was probably just a little brighter than that. Not a white, certainly, it's definitely a cream. So that edge wants painting. I'm also getting the perspex cut tomorrow. I can only thank my employer for that, because it was part of a perspex screen to protect people on reception when COVID first came in. Of course, all these places had to suddenly get them in, didn't they? Whoever was working with acrylic at that time was making a fortune. But anyway, they don't need the screens anymore, but the perspex is quite thick. It's about 5mm. Will do me fine for a replacement top until such times as I decide, yeah, all right, I'll change it for glass now. But it will do me, and it's a good way to recycle materials, isn't it? But then I can concentrate on the back. It is very difficult to see, but if you look, you see between that archer's legs, all the back has flaked off, and a little bit at the bottom. That's not such a big deal, because what I've got to do basically is scan it in. I've talked to my son, because he's quite artistic as well. I said what we need to do is scan it, get it in Photoshop, and put back what's missing, and then we can get that printed on acrylic. And it's not just a case of printing the back. You've got to bear in mind that certain areas light up with bulbs, so there's a light behind it, but they're obviously they're masked off, if you see what I mean. So most of the back of that will be blacked out, except for the areas where the light can shine through. We'll figure that out when we, take the glass out, and we can see what the mask looks like then and create one. But that'll be fun. But I have seen it light up, and if you look at some of the previous videos, I forget which number, but you could certainly see them. And most it ever went up to was 300. And again, I think that was because of that gear wheel. So these are the trials and tribulations of restoring a pre-war pinball. Anyway, that's all there is for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe.